Folks, let's talk some shop. We're going to feature this. This is called a System 20. It's not real prevalent when you look at the cans and the ads, but it's a System 20. And this is a light gray, this 2253, because I think the 2255 or something like that is darker. But this is a light gray, because we're going to get into the subject matter that this is what Tara's turning out like. She's looking pretty decent for what I started with, okay? And this we're gonna have to put in the shade because this is mostly in the sun all day. And I did have problems with the original paint job. This is the original paint. It's a little darker, you see, but I experiment on my own vehicles because I wanted to know whether I was retarded and made a mistake or it was COVID or Joe Biden. See, those relative errors are important because I got that paint about, when I got this truck about 2017, and the paint really turned to shit. So I put clear coat because I told you guys this is a synthol enamel. It is not a true urethane acrylic. Now, you can thin, okay, synthetic enamels, okay, which this is, there's a lot of plant matter in this paint. Is what soybean. There's a lot of stuff that you would never think is in a can of paint, and it is. But the other, let's go for fact. I got my cigarette here like Uncle Tony. There's only so much lipstick you can put on a pig before it starts squealing on you. That wasn't intent. Well, okay, I didn't intend on that, but I think it was a little pun. What I'm going to tell you guys is when you're painting for yourself and you're buying these products online, you have no idea what the shit is. You're going to have to get it out. You're going to have to open it up and use some fortitude maybe to paint something. I know we're going to have a lot of wind noise here. I guess we have storms rolling in again. These storms have really been ticking me off. I've been losing my temper very easily because of these storms, because every time I get going on something, we have these afternoon winds and high winds and I mean downpours. The other day they were setting up over here, my Dominican neighbor, they were going to play dominoes, and it was just like somebody dumped a fire hose on them. And it was like they were trying to get everything back inside. They were colliding like a Three Stooges type event. All right, let's get back to paints, okay? So I had a lot of trouble with this, mixing it down, and I had a lot of trouble mixing the new paint, new gallon. What made the difference was I went to a higher VOC reducer, and therefore I could get my mix ratio. And the mix ratio, if you're going to get a gallon of this, there's a lot of product in it, but you're going to have about a 7-to-1. I'm not lying to you, 7-to-1. And when you're talking hardeners, like even this this primer, you only need about an ounce and a half. I mean very little. A drop or two, 3. I mix probably a little less than a pint. Is all those? I have that the Spectre kit from Harbor Freight, and those cups only hold about a little bit like about a pint. And I don't pack them full, so I get a little bit of air in there, and I get draw through my gun, which made another difference. The hammer strokes that I made, there's one there, and there's one over here, and there's one on the corner. My coupler, the airline coupler, kept failing. And last mention, okay, when you guys sand these trucks, I just dry sanded it. Like that other door, as I told you about putting lipstick on your pig, okay, there's only so much you're going to do with a truck that was this bad. And as far as I'm concerned, it looks 155% 3.2, like Derek would say, better. Let's get that one in there. It looks a lot better. And then I had other difficulties, like it delays I'm getting ready to cut grass. It's getting to be the weekend. I enjoyed my holiday. Scamazon. Where did it go? There's all kinds of sirens again today. We've had all kinds of murders over before. It's like a holiday comes up, the week of the holiday and after. This is a shifter cable from Scamazon. This is what went bad. This is what went south. the end where it would connect in, it sheared right off. I got a Dorman. I don't necessarily buy Dorman. Number one, the price was right again. And number two, it didn't look all that bad from the other stuff that they sell, like in the for more expensive, almost $119, $120. I apologize for the, like I said, this area, there's a lot of poverty. That's why guys like me are not working, even though we're disabled veterans and stuff. The employers here, this is Mr. Noisy. Yeah, it's a very small ambulance with a really, the siren's probably 3 times bigger. I call it Mr. Noisy. I actually nicknamed it because that one goes by here quite a bit. I'm not fond of Dorman products, but that cable, the new cable there, it fit right in. It fit very nice, other than I fought every minute of getting that in the truck, and then it broke. And like I said, my attitude sometimes in my videos when I curse, let me put it this way. It's not like the old days when you went and bought something, especially if you got a bargain. That was all the world. Especially if you got it at a discount, or you got 20% off the regular price. You took it and it worked beautiful. It makes people a customer. You go back to that store because they treated you right. They respect your wallet, they respect you, and they respect your time by not selling you a piece of shit. So that's basically what Amazon, you know, like I said, I call it Scamazon. I do get good things on there. And as far as I'm concerned, like the counterfeit spark plugs and stuff, Amazon tries to suit and tailor to a lot of sellers, because there's people that buy closeouts, stores fold up and they sell the stuff, and even those people don't know what the hell they got. And then there's other suppliers, they just dump stuff wholesale to people. People go out and buy it, then they realize it's garbage, and then they take it to Amazon to liquidate it. And there's some people that are too stupid and lazy to want their money back, but I want my money back. And I had a hell of a time because I burned a lot of cardboard, got rid of a lot of junk. I'm on a cleanup tear, which will last while I'm putting this back together, because I don't have that much work right now. So I'm going to settle down, and that's why I had time to explain to you guys. There's only so much lipstick you're going to put on your pig. But this truck, I'm not willing to give it up compared to trucks burning people's houses down and killing people. So Jimmy Foster, he just got stuck on a railroad track with a Ford F-350. It just died. And 3 weeks later, the dealer still has not called him. They said they will call you, or they will call Jimmy when they know something. Well, you figure in 3 effing weeks they would know something. It tells me that I'm going to keep my truck. My friend has a brand new Dodge Ram. 4th of July weekend, he took his camper down to get gas and stuff in his truck. It was all hooked up. They were all loaded. He's going camping. He ran up over a curb with the camper, and it kinked the frame and the spring hanger of the truck. How do you build something like that? How? Way to go, Ace. He gets really aggressive when I make videos. He just wants to, I don't know, he's a love sponge and a pain in the ass. All right, Orange Cat, you want to say hi to everybody? Come on. He's here. He wants to say hi to everybody. All right, I covered sufficiently. You're going to have to know what primer to use under a paint, especially if it's an opaque, high metal flake. Normally, the better quality paints, they have a lot of pearl coat in them, and they have a lot more base. This base is semi-transparent until you get, it says to lay 2 wet coats. The way I did it like a synthol enamel instead of the way the instructions said for that paint. Okay, because if you look it up on Google, they're going to tell you with an acrylic urethane to lay 2 heavy wet coats. No, I sprayed this like a synthol, and it came out a lot better. And since I don't paint every day, I could have done a better job, believe me. But like I said, I'm being rushed by the weather, and I'm getting handicapped by shit couplers for my airlines and stuff. And a lot of people are going through that. And then a lot of people, they go and they buy the better product, and it's no better. Sometimes it is. But I fought a lot of wars, and I won a lot of wars. I figure this week getting this truck. My son's coming up tomorrow. We're going to get this, these driver's side fenders on these Silverados with all that electrical there. it's a real pain in the ass because somebody's got to get up on the stool or the ladder, get in there, hold that shit up out of the way so you can fit the fender there and get that box, because you're not going to put a Silverado fender back on one of these trucks by yourself. I know, I've tried. I got lucky one time, but when I'm worn out from the sunshine like I am and everything else, these old Silverados keep them. Compared to, like I said, what happened to Jimmy, and then, like I said, Frank's truck over the railroad track, boom, dead in the water. You know, I won't buy another Ford product for a lot of years, or I won't, I should say, I'm done buying Ford products, period. Nothing modern. I won't even drag one from he just spilled my soda all over my foot and the box. I looked through every place I could. But anyway, for the box. I did not have a box to fit that. Like I said, I burned a lot of cardboard, and he is just being a terror. So, to conclude my video, all right, I'm not rambling. I'm giving you institutional knowledge that you can dry sand this primer. It hit a lot of sins for me. I buy very few products that I'm pleased with. U-POL products, I have not bought a U-POL product I have not been happy with. I don't care if it's your your spot putties. I call it spot putty, but what do they call it? Your I want to say latex. It's nylon, like a nylon, you know. But anyway, there's different products that U-POL's never sold me a bad product. And a lot of the suppliers I buy stuff from, the U-POL products, they come through nice and fresh simply because the products sell. And I'm just going to tell folks that use your head when it comes down to those things. Buy the better product like U-POL. It's not that much more. It's actually a lot less than some of the exotic stuff. The exotic stuff is junk. A lot of it is hard to work with. You got to let it sit for a long time. Does it make a better paint job? Well, maybe if you're doing a show car. But if you're doing your work truck and say you get a few weekends off during the summer, like, you know, we had bad weather and everything, and you're trying to do, you're not going to work with that stuff. It takes too long to dry. This stuff, it's set really nice. Like I said, even the paint, even this paint right here, I only used about, and like I said, I only used about an ounce to an ounce and a half of hardener in. You don't have to dump that can of hardener that came with it. It's enough to do 2 gallons as far as I'm concerned. But not to mention we had 90-degree weather here, and I work in a shade tree garage. You guys that want to paint outside and don't want a bunch of bugs in your paint, get the Raid flying insect killer. The night before you paint, spray under the truck. When you come out and you start working on it, wear your mask, spray again, and then before you get ready to paint, use the insect killer. Put it under the vehicle, all around it, all around your work area. I got one insect in the whole paint job because my buddy said, it'll be full of bugs. You don't outsmart me. No, it's not full of bugs. I did get one insect and it pissed me off, but there's always got to be one. And then just like the other side of the bed, there's always a bad side, like Orange Cat's side of the bed. There's a bad side to everything, right? You got hair all over in the pillow. I'm doing the covers now. Sleeping with a cat is something else. I don't know. Some women I miss, some I don't. The cat's still better. All right, guys. Any questions about this paint system that I used? Okay. I used a light coat of the gold. I just put like a tack coat, just like you would. There's a lot of base products, base coat, clear coat. The base, you could just blast a coat, and if anything shows through, you can fix it. It dries right away. This is not like that. You got to lay a coat, let it sit, let it flash off. Then you got to lay another coat like that. Let that flash off. Don't lay a real heavy coat. Your last coat, your third coat, you can go heavy. And then you still got to walk around the truck after that flashes off. And being urethane based, even though it's a synthetic, you can melt it in at spots. Except if you get a heavy hammer mark. I call them hammer marks, like a run. There's one back here, like I said, and there's one near each cab corner there. And that's simply because I'm getting a lot of product down there. It gets a lot of abuse from the road and a lot of road splash. So the more paint and primer you have in those areas, the better they hold up to getting chipped and stuff. If you hits, it doesn't chip all the way through, because it's going to get some chip guard. Then on top of the bed, it's another secret of mine that I'm going to start doing. Every pickup I have, I just paint it. And if you paint the top of the bed rail and your bed liner, I don't like the bed liners that go over it because they wrinkle up, they trap a lot of moisture, it rusts. I just use the bed liner up there, and I'll clear coat over it. I'll just drape it all off and I'll clear it, and it holds up. Because if you hit it with something, nothing happens to it. You do that with, if it's just painted, you've got a problem. You got a scratch, you got a nick, and the next thing that starts rusting. So I use 2 coats of the bed liner. Put 2 coats on. Even let it dry overnight. Since it's urethane, it'll melt together. It might even raise up a little bit. I'm not fond of the water-based ones, like the one at Tractor Supply sells one, and Harbor Freight, Rust-Oleum. I'm not fond of the water-based. I like a hard urethane. Here comes the medevac. There must have been another bad accident. We have the Broad Mountain here too. A couple vehicles went off the Broad Mountain, and the other one, the Tamaqua Mountain. I mean, right down over the side. It's these poor emergency workers. They probably need psychiatrists. All right. Thank you for watching my videos. I'm a little tired. I'm sorry. But I wanted to inform you that doing a decent paint job, you can do it. You can do it. And it just takes some perseverance. You can get through it. Even if you're not a master at the body work, it still looks 100% better when it's all one color going down the road than when it looks like a leper and things are rusting out. And don't forget the rust coat inside your doors and your frame and everything. Thank you.